Thursday night, 8 p.m. hits like a hammer on steel. Rumble lights up, we're loading the wheel. Bible laid open, screens burning red. Me and my man cutting through the dread.
Head to truthmedia.com, grab that raw feed. No corporate chains,
just truth, plant the seed.
I'm the shadow hunter, she's a warrior flame. Tracing justice, live, torch in the game. Shadow lights explode when the clock strikes 8, and arms riding hard, crashing through the gate. Drops turn to fire, darks tear the veil. Truth or media blood, we never will fail. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, me and you. Husband and wife forged in the fight, digging graves for lies under freedom's light. Great awakening roaring, feel that rebel fire. Truthmedia.com, taking it higher. Lock it in, brothers and sisters. Faith like iron, no surrender, no rust. Rumble's our highway, in truth we trust. From morning to cold to the midnight ride, tracing justice forever, no place to hide.
Dawn and justice mornings, Thursday night thunder. Rumble at 8, tear the veil asunder. 22 burning, this love runs deep. Man and wife standing, no promises cheap. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, breaking through. Husband and wife side by side in the war, digging deep for truth forevermore. Great awakening blazing, set the night on fire. Truthmedia.com, lift it higher.
Welcome to another week of Tracing Justice. Gosh, it's been a minute since we've done Tracing Justice, like a Q episode or a dig episode. It's been a couple of weeks, so I've been on just about every morning on the air, and I don't get to see a lot of my nighttime peeps anymore. But it is so good to be here tonight with everyone. Gosh, my hat's crooked and everything. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's do this. All right. I am Josh the Justice Cometh, and this is Tracing Justice. This is Tracing Justice's flagship show Tracing Justice. So Tracy is not joining me tonight. She is still taking care of the grands tonight. So we'll be glad to have her back next week. She has absolutely had her hands full this week. So, but in a good way, because we love our little grandbabies. So, guys, welcome. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go through a little bit about data centers. We're going to go maybe through some Q drops, and I'm going to take some questions from you guys. I'm going to try to respond to as much as I can out there. We can do some decodes too. We can, because I'm telling you what, Donald Trump's on a tear on True Social right now, so I'm sure there's something to that. So just remember, though, real quick, Tracing Justice is brought to you by justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com. So if you want to get your check engine light turned off on your body because your body's saying, there's something wrong with me, bro. I need some help. And your pets out there too, their little coats start getting dull and everything just from this food that they eat, all this fillers in these foods and stuff. You want to turn their little check engine light off? Just go to justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com. So make sure on justiceshrooms.com that you're checking out the turkey tail mixture. That's the most important part for you. And one of the most important products over there in Justice Pet Club is the mush puppies for your little furry friends. So that will get their little check engine light turned off too. So if you want to get back into balance and get your little one back into balance, just visit those websites. And we thank you so much for everybody over there at Pet Club 24/7. All right, guys, we are broadcasting from X, and I see my X chat is already starting to fill up a little bit, and we'll go through the chats here in a little bit. So if you're over on X and you're viewing me, make sure you give me that repost. We need all the help we can get over on X, because X has changed a lot in the live streams and everything. So we most certainly need your help over there. So make sure you give us that heart too while you're over there. And we're broadcasting from YouTube as well. So I already see some people dropping into the YouTube chat over there. So if you're one of my tubers, make sure you give me that thumbs up. And we're also live on pilled.net. So we love our red pillars over there. So give me that red pill, give me that repost. Let's get some people in the seats. And also, we are broadcasting from Facebook. I've already got a little bit of love going over there on Facebook. So thank you so much for that. Share my show out to your family. This show, if you're just joining us for the first time, it's a little bit different than Dawning Justice. We dive a little bit more into the Q drops. We do things a little bit different here. So if you're just joining us, thank you so much. And my rumblers. My rumblers are always going. So make sure that you give us that thumbs up. Give us that little repost too. And that helps us out so very much. And we are viewer funded. So we appreciate all the Rumble rants and all of that stuff. And if you don't want to do a Rumble rant, but you still want to give and keep the lights on for us, make sure you're going to tracingjustice.com and hitting that How to Give button. It'll list everything right there for you. All right, guys. So I did want to go over just a couple of quick things before we start diving in, because I don't get to see a lot of my nighttime peeps. I see a lot of my nighttime peeps showing up here. That's not necessarily up at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning to view Dawning Justice. So in saying that, guys, if you don't know yet, we're going to Washington, D.C. for America's 250. And I've seen people, and we've been asked for America's 250 gear. So if you go to truthermedia.com, I've got all kinds of stuff for you. You just go to truthermedia.com, hit that little shop button, and it'll take you to our shop. And here's what we got in our shop, guys. This is the Defend the Truth shirt. This is a cool shirt. I have not seen one out there. It says Defend the Truth, America deserves it. And also, you've got our female shirt, And Tracy come up with this design herself on this. It says, "Defend the truth, Truth or Media." And on the back of both of these shirts, you have our logo that says Truth or Media, America deserves the truth. Now, guys, we've also got a lot of hats too over there. You've got the female Truth or Media hat. And guys, what's really special about this hat, look, ponytail holder. You know those little hats that have the ponytail opening so you don't have to kind of feed your ponytail, back through your hat. It's got the ponytail opening for you. And if you don't want to use the ponytail opening, it seals itself up and it stays closed just like a regular hat. So you might want to check that one out too. Also, this is our America's 250 shirt right here. It says, "God bless America. The spirit lives on. Truth or Media, Washington, D.C." So check that one out. Here is our signature Truther Media hat. And you'll notice that just about on all of our hats that we've got the America's 250 logo on the sides of them as well. And here's our Save the Republic hat, 1776 through 2026. And again, that's on the side for you right there, guys. And I love this one right here. It's in all of our hats come in all of these colors, but this is that cranberry Trump red right here. And it says America 250, 1776 through 2026. And you've also got that neat little flag right there as well on the side. So guys, check it out. See what you think about it. We've got all kinds of stuff. We got travel mugs. We've got the real coffee mugs. If you want to drink your Hunter's Blend coffee with a good Truth or Media coffee cup, you can go to truthermedia.com and hit that green little shop button. Let's go through the chat. So I have got, let's see if we got anybody over there on Facebook yet. I saw a little bit of love, but I don't think anybody's chatting over there on Facebook yet. So we've got Mimi checking in over there on Facebook, Rob Smith checking in, and Tracy checking in also. So thank you so much for that. I very, very much appreciate that. And so on our X chat, our Xers are being excellent over there. And it's Spammer Girl checking in. She is one of our Truth or Media mods, and she is also the Tracing Justice Facebook manager. So if you're communicating with us a little bit, it could be Marty you're talking to, or it could be me, it could be Tracy, but just to kind of let you guys know, she handles 100% of our Facebook stuff over there on Facebook. So thank you, Marnie. And USAID coming in with the repost as well, part of our Truth or Media mod team as well. And let's see, who else we got? Mama Bear 73. So hey, how are you? And Peanut, let's see here. Peanut0723 also reposted the stream over there. And we got Sienna checking in over there on X. So thank you so much. And K9 Andrea, one of our Truth or Media mod team over there as well. All right, so our YouTubers, we've got Mr. Texas Grass checking in over there, and he's giving me the little froggy over there. So thank you so much. And our Pilled family over here, ZZ Haas checking in. Hat tip to you, sir. Thank you. Texas Girl 1776. That is AJP's sister, part of our Truth or Media mod team as well. So thank you so much, Texas Girl, for holding down the fort over there on pill.net. All right, let's go through the Rumble chat. It's a long one, so let's go ahead and get started. So K9 Andrea checking in over there very first today. So thank you. Tense 15, she beat you. She beat you, Tense 15, but that's okay. You can get her back. So Ariana 1, thank you for checking in. Nana 2112 and checking in. Carrie Girl, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We very, very much appreciate that. Freedom Fire 1776 saying, hey, let's pause just a second. Let's be serious for just 1 second. Freedom Fire needs your prayers. Their whole family needs your prayers. She's part of their family. If she wants to kind of disclose it a little bit, she can in the chat. They need your prayers. Most definitely. If you all could hit your knees at any time and give this woman some prayers and her family, I would very, very much appreciate that. So thank you guys so much. Signal Over Noise checking in. That is me, part of our Truther Media contributor team. So thank you so much, Carrie. Let's see. I believe I said Carrie Girl already, but I want to say it again. Thanks, Carrie Girl, for checking in. Let's see. Rob checking in over there on Rumble as well. Let's see who else we got. RPeer17. Thank you so much. Steph Sims. I don't get to see Steph in the mornings because she's probably asleep, but that's okay. She's checking in to Tracing Justice tonight. Courteous Maximus. And Courteous, I did get your message today. It is perfectly fine, sir. I very much understand it, and thank you so much for checking in. He is part of our Truther Media podcasting team over there, so thank you so much for checking in. Digital Swolger, Digi, man, we miss you so much. I was telling everybody this morning, Digi, about how busy you are, like in your personal life. But you will be back. I know you'll be back, and I know you're probably in your off time writing up a storm. I think you said that you just got through dropping another Substack. So if you want to find Digi's Substack, make sure you're going to truthermedia.com. I've got a little button that says publications. You hit it. I think he's like the first one up there under Truther Media Substack. So go check him out on his Substack as well. Leah Gibson, thank you so much for checking in. I don't get to see you much in the morning, so thank you. Let's see, Peanut checking in. Thank you so much. And gosh, who else we got in here? Gosh, Mary Cullinup, thank you so much for checking in too as well. Texas Trump Girl also checking in over there on Rumble. And American GG, Debbie V57. So thank you guys so much. Karen Holcomb checking in. So I think I'm about caught up. Oh my gosh, guys, you guys are check. Kilburn, there you are, man. I've been looking for you, man. Thank you so much. Shellin127 checking in. So thank you so much. We are rocking and rolling on Rumble. So, all right, guys. Let's talk about something real quick before we start diving into everything, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on about data centers out there. I kind of talked briefly about it on Dawning Justice the other morning, and there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. Hey, Cindy, thank you for checking in over there on X, and Kilburn checking in, and Jen and Dawn also checking in. Just a tad bit late, but thank you for checking in. Jeans is also checking in. Texas Girl gifted the can, too, over on Pilled, so thank you so much. Digi said, I've been working on my butt off, but I've had a few minutes to catch your show and see everyone. I really do miss everyone. Just busy with work. I completely get it. So, data centers, Eat Force, thank you for checking in, part of our Truther Media mod team as well. Let me just say this. I want you to really think about this, okay? There is a huge disinformation campaign going on out there about data centers. People are saying, oh, they're taking up farmland, they're doing this, they're doing that. Oh, look, the Rio Grande is dry because of these data centers. And it's just all of this nonsense flying out there. Guys, I'm going to play you, before we start going in, Tracy made us a Substack on data centers. And I'm going to go through it. I'm going to read it. We're going to go through President Trump's executive order on data centers as well, too, because there's a lot of misinformation flying around out there. There's a lot of claims going on out there that nobody I have been able to find that can back it up yet. Every time I ask for the information, it's always some rando video, never anything sourced from any kind of credible media. Nothing. I can't find any stories out there on this stuff that's actually truthful. It's just hearsay and a bunch of conjecture and, oh, did you hear this? And, oh, did you hear that? Okay. When you start viewing things like that and you're starting to research this stuff and you're like, I can't find anything to back this up. You need to dig in a little bit more on this stuff, because here's the deal. And this is the long skinny of it. Data centers are essential in this war we're fighting. Data centers fuels our drone army. Data centers drive a lot of our tech that we have. You know, you guys love your cell phones, right? You love your cell phones. Well, that takes infrastructure. That takes cell phone towers, popping up all over the place and stuff like that. Yeah, Karen, so much different disinformation out there about data centers, exactly. And we're going to watch a video here in just a minute on it. But it takes infrastructure. And I want you to think about something else. Back in 2023, I believe, or the beginning of 2024, when Trump was going through Agenda 47, he said, backing up, President Trump never usually ever says anything unless it's going to come true. It may not come true right now, but it's eventually going to come true. So part of his Agenda 47 were these freedom cities. Okay? We're going to start building new cities eventually. They're going to have new infrastructure. You've got Teslas all over the place now. You're going to have these self-driving vehicles. I get it. It's scary, guys. You're like, holy crap. The future is here now. President Trump also said that there's going to be vertical takeoff vehicles. Guys, the tech is there. Look at our drones. Don't you think that you can convert that technology over into an actual vehicle for people? It's not far-fetched anymore, because we have to have the infrastructure for all of this. We're fighting this AI race, and guys, listen, I know there's a lot of you saying, oh, Terminator, oh my God. Everybody's reading about Terminator and stuff like that. Have we not already talked about all these previous movies that's come out to scare people? Because they know what's coming. They know the end of the movie, okay? But they want to scare people. But why would they want to scare you on that stuff? Well, let's watch this video before we go any further on data centers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May 29th, 2026, 10:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to ask you a favor. I pretty much stopped cutting videos, or I'm only cutting like a video or two a week. The reason is I have 100,000 followers and I get, 1,800, 3,000 views, so it seems to be a waste of time. So do me a favor. I've never actually asked this on my channel. Like, share, repost, if you like the information in this video. Okay, I want to talk about data centers. However, I need to start from a place of education. Okay, if you're angry about data centers, then I would like you to listen to this entire video. Okay, if you're angry about data centers, you are likely falling victim to Chinese communist propaganda. Okay, they're spending a lot of money in order to get the American people to hate data centers, because they are in fact trying to win an AI race against us. Okay, that's number one. Okay, when you follow the money, the CCP is spending money in America in order to advance America's hatred of data centers, because they want to win the AI race against us. Makes sense, right? Now, if you don't believe that, I'm going to give you some facts about data centers and show my sources. Okay. Fact number one. The first data center in the United States was built in... When was the first data center built in the United States? The first data center was built in 1945 at the University of Pennsylvania. So question number one. Were you aware that you were angry today about technology that is already 81 years old? Did you have that piece of information? Okay. Number two, how many data centers are already currently in the United States of America? Okay. So are you angry about a technology that already exists? Well, let's look. So if you go to the US data center map, we already have 4,102 data centers in the United States. Did you know that? Did you know that you likely already have a data center in your state that you are not affected by? Okay, here's a list. Did you know that you likely already have a data center in your community? Okay. So, if you didn't know that, then you might be believing the CCP propaganda. Okay. Number 3. How much water does an air-cooled closed-loop data center use? Okay, because this is the technology that they're building the new data centers with. Air-cooled closed-loop systems use near zero water. Okay, near zero water. When I parsed it out, it's about 1.5 liters of water a day after they do the initial fill. So if you're saying this is going to impact my water, did you know that the new cooling systems don't use water? Okay, did you have that piece of information, or were you believing the Chinese propaganda, right? Now it will use to higher electricity consumption, okay? If we're going to have an honest conversation about data centers, it starts with education first. You're being propagandized, okay? Now you need to know that information, and if you didn't know that information, that you're angry about 81-year-old technology, that's where we need to start. Now we can start to have an honest conversation of it's probably not a good idea to build data centers on agricultural land because food security is national security. That's a worthy discussion, okay? But in order to even start a worthy discussion, you have to first peel back all of the propaganda. Now, from an economic standpoint, okay? Whoever wins the AI race will be the only superpower remaining in the next 50 years. Here's why. Okay? The valuation of the new AI race and the control of the data for Earth has a valuation of about $15.7 trillion to an economy. $15.7 trillion. Okay. Now, what kind of revenue does that generate? Okay, if we win the AI race and everybody's got to come to us for data storage and information, and we control that 15.7 trillion chunk of GDP, what does that do for our lives? Well, that is going to bring in state, federal, local taxes about 4.7 trillion in revenue. About 4.7 trillion in revenue. So if you think about it, when Scott Bessent and some of the leadership say the only way that we can handle the debt is to grow our way out of the debt, okay? That's specifically what it means. If we win the AI race, we can grow ourselves out of debt. If we get 4.7 trillion in revenue, that just erases the 1.4 trillion in deficit that we currently have because the government spends too much friggin' money, right? And leaves us over 3 trillion to start paying down the debt. Now, China knows that, and that's why China is writing checks to you, the American people, to the American media organizations, in order to get you to hate data centers. But if we're going to have an honest discussion on data centers, it's got to start with understanding that you're being propagandized by an enemy that wants to defeat you. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and repost, right? The reason why I'm doing like one video a week is nobody's seeing them. So if you could help my channel, that'd be most appreciated. Have a great day, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Make sense? We already know that these influencers are paid by other countries. We know they're paid by Israel. We know they're paid by the crown. You know, they're paid by China. Do you not think that they would run a psyop on us? Marco Rubio was in the house yesterday getting grilled, and he was talking about psyops. I played the video this morning on Dawning Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been psyoped. And they use your patriotism, they use your fear of the unknown against you. If we want to win this AI war, hey, Irish Patriot over there on X, thank you for checking in. Hey, Marnie, thank you for sharing the page over on Facebook. If we want to win the war, this AI war, we have got to win it. Guys, there is no putting this genie back on the bottle. It is here. It is now. People are using it all the time, all day, every day. You can fear it all that you want to, but it's here. You remember when people feared all these and stuff like that? Do you remember when people feared the computer? It's the same thing. Do you remember when people feared the nuclear power? Ladies and gentlemen, that was a huge psyop. They purposely took down Chernobyl over in Russia and melted it down to get you to fear nuclear reactors. Now let's put some more stuff together. You're like, holy crap, Justice, have you seen how much power these things use? Yep, I have. I sure have. But we've already got 4,200 of them here, 4,300 of them in the States already. They've been here since the 40s. Did you know that? So we're fearing this stuff, but they've already been here. There's a whole map that you can go look at them. I think it's datacenters.something. I'll look it up here in just a second. It'll show you where every data center is in the United States. Now, I've heard all of these conjectures. The only one that has been kind of credible is everybody's saying out there is they're putting these things right in the middle of neighborhoods. They might be putting them near a neighborhood, but there's a lot of restrictions on those. And as you're going to see in Trump's EO, he's lining out for these data centers to generate their own electricity. Guys, I'm sorry if you're hearing our grandkids in the background, so they're getting ready to go home. They don't want to go home. So, again, we love having them here. But these new data centers that they're building are going to be self-sustained. Most of these data centers right now run off of what they call either a closed-loop system, where they have an initial fill. Yeah, it's a lot of water, but it's an initial fill. They use the same water over and over and over. I mean, come on, people. Do you honestly think that they're using public water just constantly and constantly and constantly? Do you realize that this water has to be treated, right? Use your brains when everybody's throwing around all these claims out there. WV57 says, I don't hear anything. I don't know how you don't. But that's okay, though. But we got to use our heads about this stuff. We got to do some research before we just start fearing everything out there. So let me go. We are going to look at Tracy's article here that she wrote. All right, so I'm going to read this, and let me see if I can increase it a little bit so everybody can kind of see it. So the title of the article that she wrote is Why Are Data Centers Suddenly the Villain? America cannot win the future without them. Guys, that's a fact. Remember me talking about infrastructure? We have to have infrastructure to be able to run all of this AI. It's here, guys. So if it's here, we might as well be the leader in it. We might as well lead the world in it, because if we don't, we're going to fall behind. And if we fall behind and lose this AI war, you might as well shut the doors on the United States of America, because we will no longer be a superpower, just like he said. And it's very, very true. Hey, 929 NAN, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. I appreciate it. And guys, thank you all for sharing out the show. We got 2,000 watching live on X right now. So thank you guys so much for that. All right, so here we go. Why are data centers suddenly the villain? America can't win the future without them. It's national security. It's AI leadership and innovation, energy independence. And we're going to piece some stuff together about the energy part of it. Trillions in economic growth, and it's America's future. Lately, you would think that data centers are some dangerous new invention that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The outrage is everywhere. They use too much electricity. They use too much water. They're destroying communities. Really? Why the sudden all this new outrage? Data centers and large-scale computing infrastructure has been around since the 1940s. That's over 80 years old. America's banking system runs on them. And let's stop right there. This is not in the article, but I'm going to make some connections and some dot connecting for you, okay? We want to have a new economy, right? We want to be able to run crypto and all of this stuff. You guys love your XRP out there. You guys love your Bitcoin out there. You guys want to love this stuff, but you don't want to have the infrastructure for it. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a cell phone without cell phone towers. So you want to have this new best and greatest and decentralized financial system. We have to win this war. It goes hand in hand. America's banking system runs on them. National defense, our drone system runs on them. Air traffic control runs on them. Hospitals run on them. Financial markets run on them. The internet itself runs on them. So why all of a sudden panic? Because now we're talking about artificial intelligence. And everybody's freaking out. You know why? Because of Terminator. That's why. You're freaking out because of a movie that the deep state made a long time ago, because they knew what was coming. And they didn't want the United States to win this war. I'm just telling you that right now. Now we're talking about the next technological revolution. Now we're talking about trillions of dollars, national security, and global dominance. And suddenly data centers are the villain. Let's be honest about what this really is. This is not just about buildings full of servers. This is about whether America intends to lead the future or surrender to it. Modern AI requires massive computing power, advanced chips, advanced networking, reliable electricity. Let's talk about electricity. Let's pause just a second. Let's talk about electricity. What announcement has come out over the last month from our U.S. military, of all places, that it's becoming normal to have? Can anybody answer that in the chat? Does anybody want to take a stab at that? I'll give you about a minute. The future is already here on electricity. Now, there's some stuff out there I am sure of that has not been released to the public. I get it. I know that. Okay. I honestly believe that there's zero point technology out there. Hey, Tara H, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. Hey, Mama Fox 66, welcome for checking in over there on X as well. It's not direct energy yet. It's not the ether yet. It's mini nukes. Mini nuclear reactors. Remember, they want you to fear nuclear. Why? If we had more nuclear plants than water-driven plants, than coal and all of that old tech, we would have all the electricity we wanted. So, the technology is there to power this stuff. President Trump has said himself that he is going to lead the country into a nuclear revolution. How? I'm going to show you how when we start reading this EO on AI and data centers. Tara H said, yeah, they're building 10 nuclear plants. That's just the start, guys. Obama shut down our nuclear program. They would not approve any nuclear plants for the longest time. Why? Because it makes us energy dominant. That's why. Yeah, Kilborn, I know exactly what you're saying. Thorium, yep, that's the future. All right, moving on. Reliable electricity, enormous computational infrastructure, and yes, data centers. Without them, there is no serious AI development. None. Meanwhile, China is not slowing down. China is not debating whether it should pump the brakes. China understands exactly what artificial intelligence represents: economic power, military advantage, cyber dominance. Guys, the battlefield is no longer with boots on the ground, as you've seen in this Iran conflict. The battlefield is no longer infantry and our boys on the ground invading places. It's drones. It's missile technology. Hey, guess what? Y'all want that Golden Dome? Gotta have some data centers. The Golden Dome is not like this protective shield that's going to come over the entire country. It's defense systems. Think of the Iron Dome on steroids. Well, guess what? To power that, we got to have data centers. National security, global influence. China knows whomever dominates AI could help to shape future global economy and the future balance of power. And while China aggressively races forward, many Americans are suddenly being told that infrastructure required to compete is dangerous, irresponsible, or unacceptable. Why now? That's a question that's worth asking. Because China would love nothing more than the United States to voluntarily handicap itself while they accelerate towards dominance. Let me pause real quick again. So everybody's like, well, I thought China was secretly our ally. Yes, they are. But they still want to win. They still want to be a superpower in the world. Yeah, they're going to help us. They're helping us get rid of this deep state. They're going to be our friends, but they want to be dominant too. You can't forget that. I mean, just because we're all buddy-buddy with them, and they're helping us take out the deep state, and we're working with Russia, all over the world. I get it, but the United States still has to stand on its own. We have to win this AI battle. So let's keep going. Whether Americans realize it or not, information warfare is real. Narratives matter. Public pressure matters. Fear campaigns matter. Our adversaries understand that. And if you can convince a population to oppose the very infrastructure required to compete, you've already gained an advantage. You can see right there. We already know that influencers are used. They're being paid. That blonde, the patriotic blonde or whatever, I was showing everybody this morning on Dawning Justice at 8 a.m. this morning that she's out there trying to spread this rumor about President Trump having a stroke. Well, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but I can write community notes on X. I can also see the pending community notes too. That biznatch was getting lit up, and there was a ton of pending community notes on it. President Trump has been in front of the camera for the past 8 days. There's nothing wrong with that man. So my point is, we know that these governments pay influencers to do what? Influence the narrative in America. Why? Because it goes on their agenda, not the Trump agenda. We got too many people in this country that say they're America first, but they're actually working for other governments. If you're truly America first, why in the hell are you taking money from other governments to influence operations here in the United States? Think about that. You can see right there, help us shape the narrative and we'll take care of it for you. And then you've got influencers popping up. Data centers waste so much power. These buildings destroy our communities. Data centers use too much water. We don't need more data centers. They're bad for the planet. And there's the talking points. Too much energy, too much water, harm communities, destroy the environment, stand in the way of sustainability. Now let's talk about electricity. One of the loudest complaints is that AI data centers require too much power. They do. They require a massive amount of power. Get it. I understand that. This is why President Trump pushed policies supporting dedicated energy infrastructure for major AI expansion. That's why he's fast tracking all these nuclear power plants. That's why he's allowing privatized nuclear plants to be built by the same companies that are opening up all these data centers. They're going to go hand in hand. You get this massive data center that pops up. It's like 100 acres of land. You're going to have a nuclear power plant powering that data center and possibly powering the rest of the community. It doesn't take a whole nuclear reactor to do 100 megawatts worth of power for a data center. Hey, Freedom76, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. Let's see who else has checked in. I think that's going to be it. Okay, so let's go back. So just rolling back just a little bit. This is why President Trump pushed policies supporting dedicated energy infrastructure for major AI expansion. The answer was to never cripple American innovation. The answer was to build the infrastructure to support it. Dedicated power capability, more generation, more resilience, more capacity, more independence. Tara, go plug up your phone. If these facilities require enormous energy, then America should produce enormous energy. That is what builders do. That is what serious nations do. So roll your head back a little bit. You know, when we started powering all of our devices and everything like that, America knew we had to do something. We had to expand our energy infrastructure. So we started coal. We started, natural gas burning, things like that. We expanded and adapted. Now we have to expand and adapt again with new infrastructure. And let's address the water argument. You would think that some people believe every new data center is draining lakes dry. The reality is far more nuanced than that. Technology evolves, infrastructure evolves. Many newer facilities are using advanced cooling technologies, improved thermal management, closed loop systems, that's what I was talking about earlier, and designs aimed at dramatically reducing traditional water dependence. Some modern systems uses surprisingly a small water footprint compared to what critics imagine. And you can see there, this is basically a closed loop system, okay? Kind of like your car radiator. So number one, the heat's generated by the GPUs. Number two, the coolant absorbs the heat. Number three, the heat is transported. Number four, the heat is rejected out of the system. And number five, the coolant returns. The coolant fluid returns to the servers to absorb more heat and repeat the cycle. The system is 100% closed loop, no evaporation, no wastewater, no water usage other than the initial fill. Hey, Tammy, for real, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. So you can see right there, it's kind of like your car's radiator. Okay, it's a closed loop system. We're not talking about endless rivers pouring through water warehouses. We're talking about evolving technology. And here's another uncomfortable truth some people may not want to hear. If you're afraid of artificial intelligence, I don't really know what to tell you. The genie is not going back in the bottle. AI is coming. It's already here. I would say 80% of America has AI on their phones, and they use it at least once a week. I use it all the time. Do you think this new background that I did right here, do you think I did that? Nope, that was Jarvis. I am not that talented when it comes to graphic design. So hey, Laddie Addy, thank you for checking in over on Rumble. I appreciate it. Just checking through here. 17 Raccoons, thank you for checking in as well. 17 Raccoon says they won't be full-size nuke plants. They will use some small modular reactors, SMRs, like Amazon's Tech, XE-1000. High-temperature gas-cooled reactors does not use water. That's exactly right. That's the kind of information that we need to be spreading out there to the general public. Because what's happening is, hey, Seth, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble, part of our Truther Media team over there. So thank you so much. What's really shocking to me is you've got some of these elected officials out there, and even some people that are like, have just no earthly clue before they start spouting stuff out of their mouth on these like podcasts and everything. And I'm like, that argument is like 20 years old. Why are you even talking about this stuff? You don't even know anything about it. Because they want a virtue signal. They want to say, I'm going to fight for you. Look at all these data centers all over the place. I'm going to get it stopped. When there's one or two possibilities. Number one, they're just ignorant. And they're just going along with whatever they're fed to say or whatever. I don't know. Or number two, they have an agenda. It's either or. There's one or two. Okay? Either they have an agenda and they're taking money, or they're just stupid and ignorant. So let's go back. There is no global pause button. There is no magical scenario where America simply just opts out of it and the rest of the world politely follows. So guys, if you think that we're just going to say, we're just not going to have AI, we don't need it. Just like Tracy just said, the genie is not getting put back in the bottle. China certainly won't. So the smartest path forward is not pretending AI can be stopped. The smartest path forward is leading it, building it, competing in it, and controlling it responsibly. What is the very first thing that President Trump did when he come into office last year, January 20th? He partnered with Palantir. He partnered with AI. He partnered with Elon Musk, XAI. He partnered with all of these AI companies. Why? Because it is the future. And if we're not leading it, then we're falling behind. Seth, we're going to talk about the farmland issue here in just a little bit. I'm going to talk about that. I'm getting there. Because if America loses this race, we're not just talking about a bruised national pride. We could be talking about losing technological leadership. That's important. Losing industries, losing investment, losing jobs, losing strategic leverage, losing influence over the technologies that may define the next century. Artificial intelligence may become the next industrial revolution. And if America leads, the upside could be enormous. You heard him. You heard what the value of this stuff is, what it could absolutely mean for this country. It could literally, if we don't hit that 42 trillion number, kind of like KC is alluding to, and that it's just going to completely shut down everything. But if we go to a different path and try to dig out of our debt, this is a way we can do it. Artificial intelligence may be the next industrial revolution, and if America leads, the upside could be enormous. Trillions, not billions, not millions, trillions of investment, high-paying jobs, engineering growth, semiconductor manufacturing. What have we already done? We're bringing all these chip manufacturers back to the United States. Why? Because we want to be the leader in AI. We don't want to depend on China for chips. We've already been down that path. Remember, I work in the car industry. There was a couple of years that they were stripping options off of vehicles because they just didn't have enough chips to run all these little options that you have all over your truck and your car and things like that. You couldn't even get this stuff fixed. Hey, Twice Barb, thank you for checking in over on Rumble. I appreciate it. I'm just real passionate about this. I'm not mad. I'm passionate about it. And I'm passionate about it because it's our future. We're literally talking about our future and America's future. And if President Trump knows that. Opportunity for American workers, opportunity for American communities. China is building towards that future too. And America should be too. Data centers are not the enemy. They are becoming part of the infrastructure of the future. The real question is not why America is building them. The real question is whether America can afford not to. America did not become a global leader by shrinking from innovation. We led by building. We led by competing. We led by refusing to surrender the future. This is our latest industrial revolution. Guys, Apple, your Apple phone, it's American. It's an American invention. We built railroads, factories, power plants, highways, the space program. We are leading the world in space because of who? Elon Musk. The internet, we built, and we should do it again. We're going to go over the executive order that President Trump signed that very few people actually know about. So let's talk about that farmland, Seth. I have not been able to find one shred of evidence that any farmland has been seized at all. There's been a bunch of proposals on it. A proposal and an actual seizure is two completely different things. Anybody can make a proposal for stuff. Any companies could make a proposal for that. But to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, yeah, Rob says, Bobby Chuck 2000 says, if AOC is against data centers, you might want to be for them, just saying. If we have MSDNC, CNN, and all these people that are bad actors that we know stumping against data centers, odds are it might be a good thing. So farmland again. What people don't know that's in this EO is that President Trump is going to be releasing government land for data centers. He wants government land to be used first and foremost for data centers. Now let's back up a little bit. Executive Order 13818, Executive Order 13848, the seizure of property from companies engaging in human trafficking and crimes against humanity. Who is the number one leader in owning farmland in America? It's not China. They're close. It's not China, but it's Bill Gates. I think we know that he's been involved in crimes against humanity and human trafficking. President Trump knew this was coming long ago. Yeah, Steph Sim Gates. That's exactly right. Yeah, Kilborn, I get it. No land is government land. We are the government. I mean, I completely get that. But, you know, whoever owns and manages, I guess, manages the land. Because President Trump's already saying that he's going to start releasing a bunch of government land. So Tara H says, there's very finely made signs all over the place about where I'm at. They say plant tomatoes and not data centers. I don't know who came up with this in the Virginia area. Now, I will say this. Virginia leads the country in data centers. I think there's like 600 in Virginia. You guys may want to ease up a little bit on the data centers. But I get it. I mean, Virginia is a huge hub out there on the East Coast. So I do get it. I understand that. But again, we're talking about PSYOPs again. So we're having all these pre-printed signs everywhere. We're having all these protests. President Trump has already said that a lot of these protests are paid protests. Guess who's probably funding it? George Soros. All I'm saying is, do your research on data centers. Don't just take anybody's word for it. I got into an argument on X with a guy. Hey, Escadel3, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. I appreciate that. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I was in an argument with a guy on X over, he was saying, well, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I was like, well, show me. He would send me some rando video from TikTok. I'm like, no. I don't need just some talking head telling me what's going on. I need some sourced material. I need some government land seizure documents. I need something. We need something to go off of. I'm not taking your word for it. I'm sorry. That time is over with. And then the guy started talking about, it using massive electricity. And I said, okay, where is this data center at you're talking about that you're showing me this video for? I need a city and I need a state. He said, oh, it's right in the middle of a neighborhood. Smack dab. And he sent me this map. And I said, dude, where did you get that map? Give me the source of that map. You know what he did? He gave me another video off TikTok. And I said, did this map come from a news article Where did it come from? Nope, come from that video on TikTok. Well, my friend, that looks like an AI-generated map. I could have probably made that. My 11-year-old daughter probably could have made that with AI. So you got to question these people's sources, first and foremost. Guys, that's what the Anon community was built on, facts and relevant information. You got to break yourself out of this matrix when you start seeing people reading about something everywhere. Take note of it. Start doing deep dives on this stuff. Start doing your own research on this stuff. Start researching. Donnie Double says, why not build them underground, deep underground? It's a good point. Maybe we need to have that conversation. Do you know why Elon Musk wants, we can have the moon debate another day, okay? We can have the outer space debate another day. I'm just telling you what in reality is saying. He's saying he's wanting to put these data centers on the moon. I mean, we can't colonize. I mean, we can't breathe there without major, major, major resources. They supposedly say space is the coldest place in the planet or in the world, whatever, the universe, whatever. Why not put some data centers up there? If the moon is real, why don't we just put some data centers up there? Probably wouldn't have to cool them very much. So that's a good question. I mean, that's a valid argument. Why can't we put these things underground? I don't know. I haven't researched that far. It's a very, very good idea. So Freedom Fire has done a lot of research on this stuff. She said the actual funder of these protests is Novell Singer. He lives in China. Wasn't he the one that just got arrested basically as like a double agent or something? I don't know. All right. So let's go and look at this executive order. All right, so this is straight from the White House. I'm not pulling this off of the news source. This is straight from the White House, straight from President Trump's desk. Some of this, hey, Florida Girl 1985. Yeah, Florida Girl, I don't know if you know this. I believe that she checked me out because of Dawning Justice that I do in the morning. This is the show I actually started with, Tracing Justice. This is my flagship show. This is where we do deep dives and digs and things like that, and not just relevant, news and daily news and stuff like that. So welcome into my show if you're joining for the first time. Rhea says 100 acres right there. I want you to know something. Did you know that that's actually a smaller footprint than all of these solar farms out there? It's actually a smaller footprint of a lot of stuff out there. I mean, you hear 100 acres and you're like, holy crap, that's a lot. It is, but it's not. And like I was saying, I don't know if you joined us late. We have to have infrastructure for this AI push that we're doing. We have to have it, or we're not going to win this war. Okay, so let's read. See if I can increase my screen size here just a little bit. Let's read through this executive order. And this was brought down last year, July 23rd, 2025. Yeah, I know, Steph. I wish I had 100 acres too. I would be jumping up and down. By the authority vested me as President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered, Section 1 Policy and Purpose. My administration has inaugurated a golden age for American manufacturing and technological dominance. We will pursue bold, large-scale industrial plans to vault the United States further into lead the critical manufacturing processes and technologies that are essential to national security, economic prosperity, and scientific leadership. These plans include artificial intelligence, AI data centers, and infrastructure that powers them. including high-voltage transmission lines and other equipment. It will be a priority for my administration to facilitate the rapid and efficient build-out of this infrastructure by easing federal regulatory burdens. Hey, Knock My Socks Off, thank you for checking in with me over there on Rumble. I appreciate that. In addition, my administration will utilize federally owned land. This is important. Let me go back and read that one more time. In addition, my administration will utilize federally owned land and resources for the expeditious and orderly development of data centers. This usage will be done in a manner consistent with the land's intended purpose to be used in service and prosperity and security for the American people. So basically what that's saying is, hey, we are going to use government land first and foremost. Rhea, you're lucky if you own 180 acres. You better hold on to it. So I don't see anything in that sentence about seizing farmland. And listen, if these people want to sell their farmland and developers come to them and offer them bukus of money, that's their business. That's the American way. If somebody came up to Rhea and offered her millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars for her 180 acres, that is her prerogative to go through with that sale. Okay? But I cannot find any evidence of anybody in the governments or anywhere seizing land to put up data centers. None. Zero. I looked into it for like over 2 hours. Could not find it, except for all these rando videos out there. Section 2 definitions. For the purpose of this order, A, data center project means a facility that requires greater than 100 megawatts of new loaded dedicated to AI inference, training, simulation, or synthetic data generation. B, covered components means materials, products, and infrastructure that are required to build data centers or otherwise upon which data center project depends, including energy infrastructure such as transmission lines, natural gas pipelines, or lateral substations, switchyards, transformers, switchgear, and system protective facilities. Now, when we're going through this, I want you to think Trump is wanting us to be what? An energy superpower. What has he done recently? Why is one of the things that's we're doing over there in Iran? We are going through the Trump energy reset right now. You have all of these nations dropping out of OPEC. And guess where they're coming and buying all their natural gas from? And guess where they're buying all their oil from now? They're heading to the United States of America, to the Great Gulf of America, to get it. A multi-year operation that was planned out long ago. Yeah, Florida Girl said, 1985 says, we are trying to get ahead of China, USA. Hey, Laddie Addy, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. I appreciate that. So let's keep going through this EO. Semiconductors and semiconductor materials such as wafers, dies, and package integrated circuits, networking equipment such as switches, routers, data storage such as hardware storage systems, software for data management and protection, and integrated services that work with public cloud providers. Covered component project means infrastructure comprising covered components or a facility with primary purposes of manufacturing or otherwise producing covered components. Quality project means a data center project covered by or covered component project, which is the project sponsor has committed at least $500 million in capital and expenditures determined by the Secretary of Commerce. We have seen that over the last year. All these companies flooding in with these money for these data centers. Don't you think that's creating jobs for us? Don't you think that's creating more opportunities to make chips here in the United States? Yeah, it is. Project sponsor means the lead sponsor providing financial and other support for a data center project or covered component project as determined by the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Interior, the Secretary of Commerce, and the Secretary of Energy as appropriate. Okay, let me go ahead and skip down to Section 3. Encouraging qualifying projects. The Secretary of Commerce, in consultation with the Director of Office of Science and Technology Policy and other relevant executive departments and agencies, shall launch an initiative to provide financial support for qualifying projects, which could include loans and loans guarantees, grants, tax incentives, and offtake agreements. All relevant agencies shall identify and submit to the Director of OSTP. And guys, I know this is dry stuff, but we got to understand this stuff, okay? And such relevant existing financial support that can be used to assist qualifying projects consistent with the protection of national security. Guys, we are talking about national security here. Our military uses AI. What do you think Palantir uses? We have a huge partnership with Palantir. How do you think we're devastating Iran right now? Palantir. Revocation of Executive Order 14141. Executive Order 14141 of January 14, 2025. Okay, so let's see here. Advancing United States leadership in artificial intelligence infrastructure is hereby revoked. Efficient environment. And guys, I believe that executive order was written by Joe Biden. Well, Joe Biden. Autopen. I'll have to go. I don't know if Freedom Fire knows what that executive order is right there. If Joe Biden wrote something on advancing United States leadership in artificial intelligence infrastructure, it probably set us years behind. Because usually when they label something like that, that does the opposite. Efficient environment reviews. Within 10 days of the date of this order, each relevant agency shall identify to the Council on Environmental Quality and any categorical exclusions already established or adopted by such agency pursuant to the National Environmental Policy Act, reliance on and adoption which by agencies could facilitate and construction of qualifying projects. I'm going to just quickly read through here because this is a lot of legal jargon on this stuff. So I'm just going to quickly scan through this stuff right here. Let's see here. We're talking about loans right here and loan guarantees to get some of this stuff off the ground. And if you guys want to follow along in this, let me go ahead and drop the links in the chat to this executive order. All right. I'll even put it in the Facebook. There we go. I say the Facebook. Section 6, Efficiency and Transparency through FAST-41. The Executive Director of the Federal Permitting Improvement Steering Council may, within 30 days of a date that a project is identified to FPISC by a relevant agency, designate a qualifying project as transparency product pursuant of Fixing America's Surface Transportation Act. Within 30 days of receiving such agency notification, the executive director may publish qualifying projects on permitting dashboard established under Section 41003 of FAST 41, including schedules for expedited reviews on that. So basically, Section 7 is they are going to start streamlining any to get past any environmental hoops for these data centers, because we know that a lot of this stuff is held up through all these stupid environmental agencies. But President Trump cares about our environment. He knows what's relevant and he knows what is not relevant. Freedom Fire, am I missing anything so far? As I know you have done a deep dive on this. So this is talking about biological and water permitting efficiencies. Upon identification of sites by Secretary of the Interior and Secretary of Energy as described in Section 9 of this order, the action agency identified through the process described the Endangered Species Act shall initiate consultation under Section 7 of the ESA with the Secretary of Interior and the Secretary of Commerce, or both with respect to common construction activities for qualifying projects that will occur over the next 10 years at a programmatic level. The Secretary of Interior and the Secretary of Commerce shall utilize the programmatic consultation to ensure timely and efficient completion. So basically, they're going to go through making sure that there's not going to be any endangered species affected or anything like that. All right, this is a big one. Section 9, Federal Lands Availability. The Department of the Interior and the Department of Energy shall, after consultation with the industry and further in consultation with the Department of Commerce as to the project sponsors to which relevant authorization shall be granted, offer appropriate authorizations for sites identified by the Secretary of Interior or the Secretary of Energy as applicable and appropriate for relevant uses consistent with 42 U.S.C. 2201, blah, 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 and other applicable law. So basically, they're going to review government land for use for these data centers. So there you go. There you go. So if you want to read more into that EO, there's a lot of legal jargon in it. So the most important thing that I want you to take away from it is that, hey, we're going to be using government land for these data centers, first and foremost. Because that's what a lot of people are out there saying. They're taking our farmland. They're taking it all. They're draining our lakes. No. That is untrue. I cannot find any instance of that happening with factual evidence. All right, guys, I have got about 45 minutes. So, what do y'all want to do? Do you all want to dive into the first 25 Q drops? Because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a series. I don't know if I want to start it on this show or next week. We got a lot of newcomers into the movement. We've got a lot of people that have not even read through the drops or anything like that. So I want to take a quick minute to talk about the Q operation, what it is, how it started, in my opinion. So Freedom Fire says the Brownfield Superfund land options are the best thing for the data centers. Okay. So let's talk about Q for a little bit, because we got a lot of new people, like I was saying, in this movement. I see Spammer Girl says decode Trump. We may do that here in just a minute, and we may start with the drops next week. So we're going to start going through the drops chunk by chunk by chunk. I'm going to try to explain it to you on what they are, the abbreviations, trying to make sense of a lot of stuff. But you have to remember, when we're going through these drops, not all of them were for us. Q even said, not all drops and communications are for anons. So some of it we still don't understand to this day. Some of it we do. The Q operation. Let's think back, and I think it goes further back. I think it actually starts at JFK. I believe Yeah, Florida Girl 1985, Julie Donuts did put out an excellent video on data centers, so go check it out in her timeline. Julie Donuts. Q. I wrote an article basically that started at the beginning. I believe that JFK and generals come together. They figured out what was going on because JFK was an outsider. You got to remember that. He was just like President Trump. He was an outsider. He was not one of these like politicians. I mean, he had a huge family name. I get it. Okay. But he loved this country just like President Trump does. He knew exactly what was going on. I mean, he even said, even back then, he said, I want to split the CIA into 1,000 pieces. And we're seeing that right now in our news cycle, why it has to be done. So going back to the QOP. So the QOP, as I call it, is comprised of 10 or less, 7 military, 3 civilian, in an informational war to disseminate information out to the general public of what is occurring and what has happened. I believe the Q team also are the ones in charge of overseeing the actual military operation too, going down. Because President Trump would have not been able to accomplish what he has accomplished so far without the help of the military. Do you think we would have got through the Biden presidency without having control of the military still? Give me just 1 second, guys. There we go. If you notice, the Biden administration didn't get us into a world war. They didn't launch any nukes. Do you think that if they could have, they would have got us in World War III? Oh, yeah. They would have. So you go back to JFK. He's trying to take down the deep state. Even back then, he was trying to take down these organizations. He was trying to get us back onto the gold and silver standard. Even back then, they shot him for it in plain day. The CIA took our president out. So I think the good generals in the military said, holy crap. They just took out the president of the United States in cold blood on national television. We have just underestimated how big the deep state actually is. So I believe that they started inserting people into certain places in our government to keep us safe for as long as they could, while they're trying to basically formulate a plan to take back our country. Let's fast forward to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, President Trump, have a lot of similarities. They're both actors. I'm not, guys, don't start with the movie stuff, okay? I don't believe that everything's a movie. I don't believe everything is already scripted out. The Q drops say moves and counter moves. And we'll get into that later as we go through the drops and everything like that, okay? So Ronald Reagan comes on stage. He takes the presidency. He's an outsider. We start having prosperity again. His economic policies are working. The deep state did not want that. They tried to kill him again on television. I believe that Reagan got scared for him and his family. I think he was threatened. And I think he just rode out the rest of his term and went into the sunset. I think he cut a deal unfortunately, and he said, just leave me alone. So I think that the generals were like, damn it. Again, we just can't get it done. So then you got Jimmy Carter coming in, the worst president, one of the worst presidents of all time. Our country was seriously in decline then. So they had to go back to the drawing board. So I believe that then they started with JFK Jr. I mean, JFK Jr. was the darling. He was known everywhere, worldwide. He was famous. That's the key element in here when you're trying to connect everything. Notoriety, visibility. Now, we could debate all day long about JFK Jr. being alive or dead or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if he's alive. I hope he's alive. But I believe that JFK Jr. holds no relevance to the plan right now. If JFK Jr. comes back, so what? I'll be happy. I'll be happy as a lark if he comes back. I hope he comes back. But guess what? This is Trump's baby now. It's Trump's mission now. So did JFK Jr., is he in hiding now? I don't know. I mean, Q said that he's dead. Somebody asked Q during a Q&A back on the boards, is JFK Jr. alive? And I know there's been a lot of mental gymnastics on that, saying, oh, well, look at this. It really meant this. No, people, I was there. Again, I'm not saying he's dead or alive. I don't know. But here's what happened on the boards. There was a lot of turmoil on the boards back then. There was a lot of narratives getting injected into the boards about all this like fanatical stuff. And one of them that started was JFK Jr. still alive and that he's going to come back and save us all. The movement was highly divided during this time. And we weren't like a huge movement back then. Hell, we were on 4chan. And I'll get into that, what 4chan is here in just a little bit. So, Q even said that there is narratives injected into our movement to get us off our game. Fanatical stuff. Okay? To make us look crazy. Q said that. JFK Jr. was running against Hillary Clinton for a Senate seat. That was going to be his springboard. I believe that the Q team was working with JFK Jr. to try to propel him into the presidency and destroy the deep state, just like his dad wanted to. But I think they killed him. That's just my thoughts, okay? And if you think he's alive, perfect. That's great. I'm not going to fault you for it. It's not something we need to really argue about. I'm just telling you what the board said and what Q said. Q chose that question during a Q&A session to address right then because the movement was so fractured on it. So Q picked out that question, quoted it from an anon, said, Q, is JFK Jr. alive? Response, no. Moving on. So, I mean, is it disinformation necessary? I don't know. So moving forward past JFK Jr., well, who was one of JFK Jr.'s best friends? Donald Trump. He had to have been furious when they killed him. He was asked back then by, I think it was Oprah, are you going to run for president? He's like, well, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. Now, remember me talking about the notoriety. Trump was famous. even before The Apprentice. Everybody knew who Donald Trump was, but they didn't know Donald Trump. They knew of him and him being on talk shows and kind of, giving his opinion on stuff, but they didn't know him. So I believe the Q team set up The Apprentice. Throughout The Apprentice, there's all kind of cues that point that he's part of the Q operation even back then. I mean, there's boxes with the Q on it. They even made a action figure of Donald Trump that says, Donald Trump says 17 sayings when you pull his string. 17. Go look it up. It's there. So they had to get him in front of America. They had to get America to love Donald Trump and what he was about. So he went through 8 seasons of The Apprentice. Notice when Twitter was created, he was all over Twitter all the time. Go back through his old Twitter post. That'll really shock you. If you're just getting into this movement, go back and look at Donald J. Trump's personal Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it, and go back to 1920, what he was saying about Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and all of that. It'll shock you. You'll be like, holy crap, he actually knew about that back then. I wonder why. I wonder how he knew. I believe that the generals came to him even before The Apprentice and said, listen, here's the plan. This is the plan we had with JFK Jr. This is the plan we had with Ronald Reagan. This is the plan we had with JFK. But I believe that we're finally ready. And we're not going to overestimate or underestimate them this time. We're going to see this thing through the end. We have the technology to be able to do it with now. You remember JFK, or I'm sorry, not JFK, Ronald Reagan talking about Star Wars? Remember that? He was wanting to do something like the Golden Dome, people. Even back then, we didn't have the public technology to be able to do it back then. And I think that he was wanting to usher that in. Why do you think that NASA was shut down by Barack Obama? We had to get that dominance done away with in the United States. Yeah, Tara H., that story about the Bible, yeah, it gives you chills. Go research about the Bible and Donald Trump. It'll blow your mind away. So he goes to The Apprentice. He comes down the escalator, 2015, saying he's going to save America. Everybody's rooting him on. Everybody loves him because of The Apprentice. You're fired. So, I believe he was given assurances that he was going to win this election. But he had to put the work in. That man never quits. That man hardly ever sleeps. He loves this country. He was an insider for a while, but he didn't get involved in all that stuff. See, that's the key. That's the key right there. He knew about it, but he didn't participate in it. Who knows where all the bodies are buried? Huh. Who knew about Jeffrey Epstein? Let me see if I can find that drop real quick. Give me just 1 second, guys. All right, here we go, guys. Let me share my screen here. Q post 14. One of the most important Q posts of the whole drop series. I'm going to read a snippet of it. Was Trump asked to run for president with assurances made to prevent tampering? How is POTUS always 5 steps ahead? Who is helping POTUS? The military is the only way, ladies and gentlemen. The only way. Was Trump asked to run for president with assurances made to prevent tampering? How is POTUS always 5 steps ahead? Who is helping POTUS? The Q drop was 10/31/2017. I didn't see that one come down. I didn't get into the boards until mid-November of 2017. So you go back to election night. I remember it vividly. I ordered pizza that night. I was sitting there on the couch watching the whole thing go down. Hillary Clinton was so shocked that she lost. Everybody was in dismay. Did the White Hats have control of some of the election? I believe so, absolutely. Because you didn't have all the mail-in ballots back then. They didn't have that game yet. All they had was the flipping of votes, in my opinion. You know, the illegals weren't nearly as bad back then. I mean, it was still a problem, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it is now. Yeah, guys, if you could, real quick, if this is your first time viewing it on Tracing Justice or on any platform out there, whatever platform that you're watching on, could you please subscribe to the channel? If you're liking what you're hearing and you want to hear more about this kind of stuff, please give us a thumbs up or heart or whatever out there and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, Spammer Girl Q, for that. So where was I? Okay, election night. So she lost. Everybody's in complete shock. John Podesta rolls out at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, "Oh, Hillary is really tired tonight. She will talk to you guys in the morning. We're still fighting. We haven't give up yet." Let me find another drop here. Give me just a second. Q post 1834, 8/10/2018. They never thought she would lose. Now they all lose. Q plus. If you don't know who Q plus is, we'll get to it. It's different than Q. They never thought she would lose. Now they all lose. Q plus. Go back to Trump's Truth Social. Go take a scan through his feed. What's he wearing on his lapel a lot? Q plus. If you don't know, the plus is the symbol for 0 on a phone. 2018, Trump takes off on Air Force One. The plane fags over on 4chan notice that POTUS is flying with the call sign Q0 on Air Force One. Everybody's like, what the hell is Q0? And then things start getting signed with Q plus. Q sends us confirmation. Look on a phone. What's beside the 0? Q plus. Who was flying on Air Force One that day, flying under the call sign of Q0? President Donald J. Trump was communicating to us through the chans directly. And that was one of the posts right there. So fast forwarding, Trump immediately takes control and the whole apparatus goes insane. The fake news start losing their minds. Russiagate starts. All assets were activated at that point to bring down President Trump. Why? They labeled him racist when he's clearly not a racist. They label him fascist. All these labels out there. They start the riots. Why? Because they know President Trump can't be bought off. They know exactly what he's going to do. So what do? They try to take him down any way they can. Think back, 2015. What does Trump label the news? The fake news. That was the first hurdle that he had to get over to get us all out of this matrix that we are all just living in merrily, okay? He had to make us realize that the fake news was lying to us. Proof after proof. Hey, Coffee Gal, thank you for checking in. I appreciate that over there on Rumble. Proof after proof after proof after proof that the fake news was truly fake. That was the first hurdle. That's why he kept hammering the fake news. That's why he kept doing all of the press conferences. Remember in Trump's first term, all the press conferences that he used to do? Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, next, fake news, fake news. He was breaking you out of the matrix and making you do some research. But the Q team knew that they couldn't do this on their own. They needed the civilian population involved in this operation to take down the deep state. Information is power. When you start spreading the information about what's going on, that is the nail in the coffin for the deep state. They can operate in darkness, but they can't operate in the light. You're seeing that right now. They can't do anything anymore without the hypocrisy being called out on them. You are literally watching the D party death spiral in front of your eyes today. Because of the anons that were on 4chan in the movement, spreading the information out there. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying without this information, we would not be where we're at today. Let me see if I can find another drop. Whew, 6 pages. Give me just a second, guys. I can't quite find it. Let's see here. Sorry for the dead air, guys. Trying to find something here. Anyways, Q said, this is the greatest military/civilian operation ever to take place in the world. So you think to yourself, well, how could they start teaching us about all this stuff when the deep state was so still entrenched in big tech, in Twitter and Facebook and all this other? How are we going to spread this information? The Q team says, how are we going to get this out? Hey, Prayer Fire, thanks for checking in on pilled.net. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. They are a part. Prairie Fire is also a part of our Truther Media mod team, so thank you so much. Hey, Slews1167, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. So the greatest military civilian operation in history. So how does it start? Where do they go? How do they start disseminating the information to the people? Because the people have to be awakened for this to work. They have to get decoupled from the MSM. So they went to one of the most degenerate places in the internet with 4chan. There's a lot of porn on there, guys. There's a lot of nasty stuff on there. I'm not gonna lie. And I'll go back into how I found it here in just a minute, if you've never heard that story before. But there was a lot of people on 4chan. They were diggers. They were researchers. They had already started to break out of the matrix. They knew 9/11 was already a conspiracy. They knew the moon landings were fake. They already knew all this. They were light years ahead of the general population. I'll have to have Stav on one day to explain how the Q team narrative seeded the Q-op on 4chan, because he's the only person that's ever caught on to it before. So I'm going to have him on maybe for the next show when we start. So nobody hardly knew about 4chan, though. I mean, a lot of people did, but not many, out in the general public. It was a perfect place for Q to start. So Q actually didn't start labeling themselves Q until, I can't remember what post it is actually, guys. I think it's like the first 30-something is not labeled anything. But how you identified Q was what they called a trip code. Let me show you what a trip code is. I'll just pull this up. Okay. You see this ID right here? Oh, I'm sorry. No. My bad. Yeah. So when I have Stav on, Conservative Cowboy, where do you mean it? Where is LT? LT's not on this show. I didn't advertise LT, I don't think. If I did, I'm sorry. So Q was known by the unique trip code, or the ID, of the poster. So when I have Stav on, he's going to explain to you that there was actually a team of people that were actually narrative seeding this whole thing. Okay? So you're going to see early on that there's a couple of different IDs out there that was being used. That's this right here. Okay? See that highlighted on the screen and that? That's how we could tell the Q team was posting. And they would always let us know when they had to change their trip code. And the trip code is that nobody had that trip code to where they could log in and post. Not even the board owners had it. It was encrypted. So Q starts posting all of this information. Let's just look through a couple of the very first ones. So we'll go, I use QAG, guys. QAG it's qag.news if you want to get there. Or you can go to tracingjustice.com and go into digging tools, and it's right there. QAG looks intimidating, but it's really not. And it's actually a lot faster than Q alerts to be able to find things. It's got a ton more digging options. It's what usually the in-depth decoders use, because there's so many options that you can search through this thing, okay? So Q's first post was Q post 0 on 10/28/2017. Says Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the morning of October 30th, 2017. Now, if you were on Dawning Justice this morning, we played a video by Real AF Patriot where Hillary Clinton was getting stuffed into the bus on September 11th, 2016. I think she was kind of put under lock and key then. But everybody's always looked at this post and said, is that really Q posting? Because if you notice, the trick code's different right there. So we're not sure about that one. But then you come to Q post number 1. Q quotes Q post 0. Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 and 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Q says HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, extradition already in motion effective yesterday with several countries in case of a cross-border run. Passports approved to be flagged effective 10:30 at 12:01 a.m. Expect massive riots organized in defiance and others fleeing the U.S. to occur. USM military will conduct operations while the National Guard is activated. Proof check, locate National Guard member and ask if activated for duty 10:30 across most major cities. Okay, so here is the theory that goes on. That Q is actually working backwards through the drops. That we're actually kind of working our way backwards. And that this is the last right here. Even though it's the first, it's the last. I don't know that for sure. Okay, I'm not claiming that, yep, this is going to happen. Red October has yet to occur that the drops talks about. And we'll get into that as we go through this series. So, what if this is actually talking about the future? The future proves past. Q says that all through the drops. Future proves past. So we've been talking about AI. Let me take this off the screen because I don't want to get into the drops a lot right now because I think we're going to do that next week, and I'm going to have to wrap this up here in a little bit. So we're talking about these Q drops and these dates on these Q drops and everything like that. But if you're partially familiar with the drops, you know that some stuff is coded in them. There's timestamps down to the second on things. So you ask yourself, you're like, did a human write these things? Could a human have timed these down to the second in the way that these things are written in a certain way, shape, form, and fashion? I don't think so. I really don't. I want to show you one other thing. All right, let me share my screen here again. Q drop 244. I want you to really think about this, folks. Less than 10, we know that the Q team is 10 or less, comprised of 7 military, 3 civilian, or 3 civilian and the rest military. Florida Girl 1985, later on in the series, we're going to get into Looking Glass. It's not what you think it is. We could be on the same page, but I don't, a lot of the Anons out there say a lot of fanatical stuff about Looking Glass, okay? Q post 244. Less than, in this, the wording matters. Less than 10 can confirm me. So if the Q team is made up of 10 or less, what is Q talking about here? Less than 10 can confirm me. Me. Have you ever talked to AI before and it refers to itself? I have. I believe that Elon Musk, from my past decodes, is involved in the Q operation. Hell, guys, he put out a video November 4th, 2024, with Q all over it. It was deliberate. That same day, Same day, he says Warlock shield activated. Let's look at something. Let's look up Warlock on the drops. Remember, he said Warlock shield activated. You can go look it up. Just go to Elon's profile and search in his own profile Warlock. You'll see it 11/4/25, the day before the election. Let me find the post here. Here we go. Q post 173. Good will always defeat evil. No rigging. Blackmail this time. Wizards and Warlocks Q. Warlock shield activated. Same day he puts out a video about Q and restoring America. Florida girl, no. Trump is not Q. Trump is Q+. Very, very important to understand that. We don't know. Dan, I believe, is one of the three civilians. He has to be. He is the one that puts out everything for us to decode. Q even referred to him as 3-second Dan because he was 3 seconds late in posting something. That he didn't quite hit that 0 delta. And we'll go over what a 0 delta is later on in the series. Okay? Yeah, Florida girl, I get it. I get it. I do it too. You know, I said the other day on Dawning Justice that, where they received all the envelopes and everything, that was John McCain's funeral. I was like, I was George Bush. Can't believe I said that, so I get it. There's also an eyewitness. David Clements is at Mar-a-Lago the night of the election. Elon is sitting next to President Trump, and David Clements is in his orbit. David said, Elon pulls out his phone. 9 o'clock. Trump won the election. It's over. How would he know that? It wasn't even called at that point. Warlock shield activated. Now, the reason I'm saying this, I believe, this is my opinion. Hey, Freedom76, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble, and thank you so much for gifting the 5 subscriptions of Tracing Justice. I appreciate that so very much. And it looks like R. Pierce and Ariana and Karen and Escadil3 and Spammer Girl Q and Tara H received those gifts. So thank you very much for helping us keep the lights on here. So you understand why AI is so important. Could AI have helped us save this country through the Anons? Q started on 4chan because these people knew how to think critically and think past what the MSM was feeding everybody. They had to start somewhere. What better place to go than some of the most critical thinkers in the United States of America? Yeah, they got problems. I get it. I get it. A lot of them are autistic, and God love you for being autistic too. Because without the autist, we would be nowhere near. People, I don't know why people think I'm autistic sometimes. I don't think I am. But anyways, God love your soul. The autist helps save this country. We ain't quite finished yet, but we're getting there. So that's what Q is. Q is a military operation in coordination with the civilians, us, and the military together to disseminate the information. I'm going to leave you with this one last drop. You saw it in my entrance video. And I want you to really think about this. If you're viewing me for the first time and you're always on a lot of these shows out there where they're talking about the movie and everything like that, I listen, I know stuff is scripted out there. I get it, but it's not all scripted. It's not some big freaking movie that you're watching. And we'll get into what Q meant about the movies and Patriots in Control and all that stuff. I was there on the boards. I know what they were talking about. People take this stuff completely out of context. Q post 4509. And I'm sorry if I'm boring you with this, some of my diehard audience, but it's that important. You have been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield, Twitter, Facebook, etc. So if you're one of these peeps over there that just stays in True Social, you're not following the plan. You're not on the battlefield. You're cozy in your own little house just shooting the shit with everybody. The battlefield is X. The battlefield is Facebook. The battlefield is YouTube. Use other platforms as a form of centralized command and control. Organize and connect, bridge through linking. That's what we all do every day. You know, everybody in the show is bridging through linking. We're making friendships. We're connecting with everybody. We're in back channels saying this, and have you seen this, and have you seen that? Source memes material from the battlefield, X, and or garage. Highlight and share, take and drop. So what Q meant was, guys, if you see something out there, snatch it up and throw it back out there and use it. We don't care. We don't care about watermarks and all that bullshit and all that stuff. We don't care. Get it out there. Get the information out there. Mission 1. And I want you to really pay attention. If you don't get anything else out of this show, I want you to remember this. And think about what President Trump did to decouple us from the MSM. Mission 1. Dispute, reject propaganda push through posting of research and facts. Not by posting, everything is a movie. Not by posting, everybody is a 2.0. Not by posting, everyone is in a mask. Not by posting that everything is a big script to sit back and enjoy the show. We can go over that later too. That's not what it means. Mission 1, dispute and reject propaganda push through the posting of research and facts. What have we just done today? What was the beginning of this show about? What did we just do on this show today at 8 p.m. Eastern? We started pushing back against the propaganda of AI data centers. The mission. Mission 2. Marnie is a perfect example of this. Spammer Girl Q. Support role of other digital soldiers. One falls, another stands, rises. Marnie helps out everybody in Truth or Media all day long. She may not be the best at formulating post, but she can sure damn get it out there, though, and I love her for it. We need people like that in our movement. If there was more Spammer Girl Qs out there, this world will be a much better place. And guys, all my Tracing Justice peeps out there, I see what you guys do. I see it. I know that you guys share all my information out there, and you share all the Truth or Media's information out there. I completely thank you for that. I don't mean to leave anybody out, but you know what I mean, okay? Mission 3. Guide, awaken others through the use of facts. And this is important. Escadel 3 said, send me. Exactly. Raven 2000, thank you for checking in on Pilled, guys. I am so sorry I missed the chat. Leah Gibson is over there as well on pilled.net. I like to recognize you guys. You guys don't have to throw me money for me to recognize you. I love you guys. Mission 3, God awaken others through the use of facts. D-class 1 through 99 material and other relevant facts. What are we getting right now, ladies and gentlemen? We're getting D-class material right now, every day. Every day we're getting this stuff dripping out now. D-class 1 through 99 material and other relevant facts and memes. Decouple MSDNC control of InfoStream. And this is important too. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of MSDNC propaganda. That's important. Ask counter questions. Mission 4. This is not so relevant nowadays, but it was back in the day. Mission 4. Learn to use camouflage digitally. Primary account suspended. Terminated. Use of secondary. I went through that. Guys, do you remember when I got banned from X? When they just cut my thing off? Guess what? I was right back in the fight and I was making a new account because that's what we do. Mission 5. Identify strengths and weaknesses. Personal and or designated targets. RE Twitter and Facebook, plus others. Example, RE memes failure to read through the use of the algorithm. So back in the day, this is what this is talking about. So back in the day on Twitter, there was an algorithm back on Twitter back in the day. It was a censorship algorithm though. But guess what its major flaw was? It could not read memes. It could read text all day long. So if you wrote like this big article or something like that, exposing a bunch of this corruption, guess what? You got the ban hammer. The algo would say, nope, you're gone. But what they couldn't do was read memes. Q knew a picture was worth 1,000 words. Tara, I wish I did. I'm already 12 minutes over. I have to go pick up Tracy because she took our daughter home and she's kind of over there without a vehicle. So I've actually got to wrap this up. So we're going to start a new next Thursday at 8 going through these drops. And I tell you what, join me on Dawning Justice if you can tomorrow. We'll go through the Trump news conference. And we'll kind of do some live decoding tomorrow morning at 8. So the algo couldn't read the memes. So that's how we spreaded information. That's like you said, take it and spread it everywhere. They couldn't stop the memes. All right. Think Tron Master Control Program. Dependence on person-to-person capture, slow response time, unidentified users. And what that means is it's still relevant today. Have you ever had somebody just come in one of your threads or whatever, and they just drop this nonsensical information or these insults and all of this, but then you go look at their profile and they've got like 50 followers, but they've been around since 2009? That doesn't make sense. That's a bot. He was talking about the bots here. Slow response times. If you responded to one of these people and it took them days to respond back to you, odds are it was a bot. So you don't even mess with them. I've stopped messing with the bots. It's a waste of time. Game theory, information warfare. Welcome to the digital battlefield. Together, we win. Q. I'm going to leave you with that. So if you're new to Tracing Justice, and I know Listen, I'm not here to be your entertainment. I'm not here to be a movie anon and to sit back and tell you about how everything's fake. I didn't see anything in that drop about us talking about this as a big movie. I'm not here to replace your entertainment that you used to watch on TV. That's not what I'm here for. We have a good time. We laugh and cut and carry on and you know, go on in the chat, and we all have a good time with each other. That's great. I am not here to be a replacement on eating popcorn in front of a movie screen. I am here to disseminate information to you. So you can go disseminate the information out to everybody else. I am not the hear-all and be-all of everything. I am wrong a lot. But I like to use my experience to help everybody. Been here since 2017, mid-November, doing these Q drops. I know a little bit, not a lot, but I know a little bit. And a lot of these people that you see on these podcasts, they come in 2020, 2021, they weren't even there for it. Context matters. I'm not saying that you got to be an OG and on to be able to understand these things, but you've got to come back to reality and start really spreading some relevant information instead of just telling everybody that everything's all under control and that you don't really need to do anything. Tune into my next show. I'll show you what else is fake. Tune into my next show and give me $50, $100, $200 Rumble rants. Feel sorry for me. You know, blah, 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 blah. That's not what we're here for. I mean, granted, I got to keep the lights on, but we're here to help each other. We're here to disseminate information. And I'm not mad at some of these people that are saying all this stuff. I don't care. If they want to do that, that's fine. But that's not the mission. You got a lot of people out there that use their past to garner support. I mean, Q said, when this whole movie narrative come along, there was a drop out there that said that false narratives are being injected into our movement as we speak. When you think everything's a movie, are you really red pilling people? Or do they just think you're crazy when you try to talk to them about this stuff? Does your family and friends think you're crazy? Have you lost family over by telling them everything's a movie and then that everybody's already dead and everything's already done? Have you lost family like that? Have you lost friends like that? Have you lost coworkers like that? Have you lost your job because of that? They're taking you out of the fight and you don't even realize it. I'm not angry. I'm just telling you facts. You've been put into this silo of crazy people. Okay? Guys, I told you, there's some that are fake and anything. I get it. But if that's all you talk about, and you don't go by post 4509, and you're out there spreading relevant information with facts and D-class material and asking counter questions, what are you doing? Are you just watching TV and being entertained by an entertainment anon? Saying that, oh, they don't want you talking about the movie because it's gatekeeping information. No. I'm not gatekeeping anything. I want you to start digging in to the information and digging into these EOs and pushing against this propaganda out there. You don't do that when you're tuning in at 2 o'clock every afternoon to see everything that's fake or tuning in at 6 o'clock every day and listening to this person's fake and, oh, it's just all part of the movie. It's all part of the show, folks. That's why I don't do a nightly show every day. Because when you do that, you're stretching. You have to stretch for content. That's why I do a morning show. I do a morning show and a news wrap-up show. Because that is what matters. News unlocks the map. Not news unlocks the movie. News unlocks the map. And I know a lot of you people are out there thinking, well, God, he's hating on a lot of people out there. No, I'm not hating on them. There's a lot of good people out there that spew a lot of nonsense. And I'm not saying it's all nonsense, but we're really not focusing on what we need to focus on. We're really not saving our country. We're just kind of entertaining everybody. I guess I got to get off my soapbox, guys. I'm very passionate about us coming together and about us doing the right thing and educating people. It's fun sitting around the campfire and kicking around saying, did you see that guy? I think he was wearing a mask. Oh, I get it. I think it's awesome. I think it's fun. I throw around theories all the time. But it's not my main driver. Yeah, Tara H., I believe it is a balance. There are some things that have been settled and some things are still shaking out. But either way, Trump has it all. Exactly correct. It was over before it started. I get that. But what if all of us just stop trying to red pill people? The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to them right now. That's what we're going through right now. That's why you see all this ridiculousness out there. And you're like, oh, did you see that? I can't believe they said that. They have nothing left. They're running out of moves. Everything has been brought into the light now from the darkness. That's what Q meant when it said enjoy the show. The big boomerang has finally come around from all their misdeeds. Patriots are in control now. Bill Pute is in control now of the DNI. President Donald Trump is in control of the presidency and the military right now. Patriots are in control right now. Conservative Cowboy says military the only way believes only means military in the background controlling things, helping POTUS. That would go with post 14. Who is helping POTUS? Was POTUS asked to run with assurances to prevent tampering in the election? How was POTUS always 5 steps ahead? Absolutely, Conservative Cowboy, you're on the money. The biggest military/civilian operation in history is occurring right now. And you're going to miss it if you're sitting in the back of the movie theater. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Rhea, absolutely. God is in control. That's why I have that sign to always remind us that God is in control. We have read the Bible. We know who wins. We know who has already won, but the fight rages on. God still needs us out there red pilling and white pilling people. White pilling is leading people to the Lord and leading people to Jesus Christ as their Savior. That is the most important mission. I don't get into a lot of biblical stuff on tracing justice. We have a whole separate show for that, but I always try to weave it in because it is important. The spiritual battle is very real. If you're only in the informational battle, you are not on mission. It's biblical, Q. And you're seeing why. You're seeing all the principalities that run this world have been unmasked now. Everybody's onto them. God wins. But in the meantime, we have to get as many souls going to heaven as we can. And the only way we can do that is witnessing to people. If you're sitting in the very back pew of the church, just kind of going through the motions in the spiritual battle, you might as well not even go to church. If you're sitting in row F, H, Z in the movie theater, and you're just sit back with your pretzel and popcorn and just watching everything unfold, what are we doing? Why did you even participate? You got to get in the fight on both fronts. The reason things are so crazy right now is that the spiritual war and the informational war are melding together. The lines have been blurred so much now that it's getting so crazy now. That's why Q said it was going to be biblical. And if you don't think that the Q team believes in Jesus Christ, go back and read the drops. Go to qag.news and go and read the drops. Every single scripture that Q quotes, guess where it's from? It's not from the Torah. It's not from the Old Testament. Every one of those drops that reference scripture is from the New Testament. Amen, Raven 2000 on Pilled. Absolutely. Leah Gibson, God is good all the time. Absolutely. So, I hope tonight has been informative to you guys. I really enjoyed doing this episode. I really miss my wife, though. Tracing Justice is not the same without my wife. You know, I tell a lot of people we're a package deal, me and her. And I told her when I started wanting to do podcasting, you know, after I went on Jordan's show, Jordan Clark, God rest his soul, I said, I think we can do something, honey. She was like, what? Are you kidding me? A podcast? We are not podcasters, Josh. We're almost 50 years old. I said, let's do something. Let's give it a whirl. Let's just go with it. Let's just see where the Lord takes us. I started out with a work laptop that was 8 years old. I couldn't even pull up more than one Q drop without my whole, while I was streaming, without my whole thing crashing down around me. It was wild. I remember doing fellowship in the Word, and we'd have to move around our whole living room every week when we did it to get a good certain scene set up. And she was on the work laptop sitting on the couch, and I was on her little netbook logged in to StreamYard, kind of directing everything. And man, we had so many technical problems back then. Seth will tell you. It was great. I mean, we flew by the seat of our pants. I mean, I didn't, guys. This is my notes for the night for Tracing Justice right here. That's it. I like to fly by the seat of my pants. I like connecting dots on the fly. You know, I've had some good times. But we started this to help save our country. And then it turned into we need to witness to people. And I said on my first solo podcast that I would use my platform to help lead souls to Jesus Christ. And I will stand by that every single day. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Let's end in prayer. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name, Lord. Hallowed be thy name, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for giving us this platform to be able to learn from each other. Thank you for letting me to be able to teach people about the informational war and about the spiritual war. Lord, I ask you that you help us put on your armor of God every day and wield your sword to fight the evilness in this world, Lord. I know we fall short every day of your glory, Lord, but thank you for sending your Son to die on the cross for all of our sins, to give us that path to glory, Lord. I want to thank you. I thank you. You know this, Lord. I thank you every day for Tracy, for you putting her in my life and getting me back on to the path that you wanted me to follow, Lord. I thank you for my family. I thank you for my house. I thank you for all the friends that I've made. I thank you for all the people you've taken out of my life, too. Please help us follow your plan, Lord, and what you want us to do, and not our selfishness and what we want to do. Please give us the strength, the wisdom, the courage, and the knowledge to be able to witness to people, to be able to tell your good word and your good deed of what you did for us in sending your one and only Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for our sins. I thank you, Lord. I thank you for everything. I thank you for everything that you have done for me, working behind the scenes that I've not ever even seen before. I thank you even for the refiner's fire that you have put us all through, Lord, because I know that you're just holding our hand all the way through it, and we will eventually make it out. I ask you that for those people that are struggling right now, that you reach down your hand and help them, Lord. Answer their prayers, Lord, for whatever that might be, Lord. I want to pray for Freedom Fire's grandson, Lord, that you may heal him. We need a miracle, Lord. Please help that little boy, Lord. And I thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. I've got to get on the road. I'm sure Tracy's waiting on me right now. I told her I was going to be 2 hours, and now we're at 2 hours and 32 minutes. I am going to be rating you over. Let me make sure that AJP is going to be streaming tonight before I try to raid you over to somewhere that is not airing tonight. So give me just 1 second. There's AJP. Yes, he has got his stream set up for Stuff and Things Thursday. And if you're on one of the platforms other than Rumble, don't forget to go to truthermedia.com. You can see our whole interactive schedule there, and you can click right on AJP's show, and it'll take you right to his Rumble channel. It'll take you right to his Pilled channel. It'll take you to whatever you need to go to get there. Okay? But if you're in Rumble, I'm going to raid you on over. It hasn't quite started yet. It starts at 11 Eastern. He may start early. I don't know. So we're about 30 minutes off. Go ahead. If you're going to go to bed, go ahead and give him that thumbs up at least. Help us out. That helps us out more than anything in the world, and sharing our show out. That helps us out more than any donation that you could ever give us. But we do appreciate all your donations out there. Remember, truthermedia.com. And if you want to get more specific about me and Tracy, go to tracingjustice.com. Don't forget, visit our sponsors, justiceshrooms.com, justicepetclub.com, to turn your check engine light off and get rebalanced. All right, guys. 3 things. Let's go make fishers of men. Let's go save some souls. And let's go save the Republic. Thank you, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for Dawning Justice. See you later.
You thought you could bury me. Thought the dark would close in. You were wrong. You don't know who I am. And you never will. In the dirt and flame, they said I break, said I shame, whispered threats You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Stealing the blood, fire and breath. I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard in its own time. You can't stop us, we will not fall. Justice is coming, and it's coming for all. You thought you could take me down. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.